Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another video. Today, we're going to talk about my experience and journey from going from primarily a Windows user to incorporating Mac into my daily life. So, as you may have seen the other video previous to this one, um, basically, I was primarily a Windows user. I had a Windows laptop, a Windows desktop, which you can see behind me, and I made the decision of trying out Mac for the first time and buying a MacBook for school, for day to day stuff, moving around, and still keeping my desktop Windows for any gaming and other work that I may not be able to do on Mac. Transition has been rocky. Some stuff has been really nice, some stuff not so much. A lot of adjustment for me personally, going from heavy customizability to basically being very restricted because Apple likes to keep a tight ship on their Macs and because of security and all sorts of I guess reasons. But without further ado, let's get started. So throughout the course of the video, I'll be pointing out some of the good and some of the bad, pros and cons, basically, as I try to remember them, and we'll go from there. Some of the good. Well, 100% one of the best things about Mac and just Apple in general is the ecosystem. Everything works so well together. The watch works with the phone works with the AirPods work with the Mac, vice versa, and everything, absolutely everything works seamlessly. I want to watch something on my Mac, pick up the AirPods, put them in, automatically connected and knows which device I'm using. I'm gonna use the iPhone. As soon as I pause something on the Mac and I start playing like a TikTok or a video on my phone, it automatically switches, right? The Mac definitely has a lot of well built-in features for the ecosystem. FaceTime, iMessage, all of these work very well. AirDrop between the phone and the Mac is very useful if you do get the chance to use it. I primarily use it for just moving like these footage, like the ones I'm recording right now, onto the Mac. But other than like, it just works so well together. The Mac in general also has a very, very good build quality. It feels very solid. When you move it around, there's no flex on anything. Everything feels so well built. Screen looks amazing in terms of physical and like just hardware features. It's extremely fast, charges extremely fast. The MagSafe is a great addition, and I do genuinely think almost every laptop should have that in 2022. The fact that the new MacBook Pros have the extra ports is very helpful, especially HDMI. I use HDMI often, trying to connect my laptop to either the displays behind that you see, or if I want to watch something on the TV, because my TV is a little old, so I don't have like the proper AirPlay and everything, right? So all of those extra ports and everything really does help out. One of the other really good things about the Mac is performance. The performance is absolutely top notch. The computer that you see behind me, this PC right here, I built it in 2020 as an i5 9600K, so that's a 6-core CPU. The Mac Pro in comparison, which costs, I believe, maybe $300 more, has a 10-core CPU. So when I was actually like, when I started doing video editing, and not even on Final Cut Pro, like on DaVinci Resolve, it still is so fast, so smooth to work on it. It's absolutely like, it's a pleasure working on a good system when you're trying to do something that requires a lot of, I guess, hardware, right? And this is taking consideration that the one that I have is a base model. So if you get something with more processing power, more RAM, it's just gonna absolutely blow you out of the water. You're gonna love every second of using it. Rendering times on this Mac is so fast. I think I rendered my last video, the unboxing video, in a minute and a half, and in comparison, the computer behind me takes about 5 minutes for that same video. So you can see the difference there for sure. But let's get into some of the, I guess, challenges with having a Mac. If you come from Windows, you know that Windows is very easy to use in the sense that everything that you click will just work and everything just is like compatible with each other, right? There's no compatibility issues. With over 70% of all computers personally used on a daily basis being Windows, it means that developers in general develop a lot of apps for Windows, and it does definitely help in a lot of development environments, whether it be networking, programming, And the fact that it's so easy to set up a VM as well on Windows to have Linux and other operating systems is definitely a big plus. One of the main issues with Mac is not only compatibility of Mac OS itself, but because of the new Mac Silicon chips, they're on a new architecture called ARM, which is different than Intel's CPUs. Those are called x86. And these ARM CPUs kind of cause compatibility issues with some applications that may or may have previously worked. So, for example, Oracle's VirtualBox, which is an application used for creating VMs on your personal device, does not work on the Mac. This is because it does not have support for ARM and virtualization of ARM processors. It only actually works on the Intel Macs, which is a bummer considering that the performance on these new Macs is so much better and it would really be like so much easier to use them. There are other alternatives, which I will show you a demo on the screen. So this one is actually called UTM. It's I believe a $10 or $15 application on the App Store. You can install Windows on it, as you can see here. This is a version of Windows 11 that Microsoft had developed that does work on ARM processors. It does say that it has virtualization for like to emulate x86 on UTM, but I never got it working. It was very, very painfully slow. While Windows and everything you can see works very well and it's like quite fast, the only issue is bringing in external factors into Windows. So for example, an external hardware device like a USB does not work very well with Windows. Camera, I believe, does not work very well either in this version of Windows on UTM. You can definitely use this to install Linux because Linux does have a lot of compatibility with ARM CPUs. So that definitely won't be an issue. There's also no GPU rendering, so that means no games or anything can be played on these virtual machines. Now, one other good thing is about the Mac is that it runs on a Unix process, it's a Unix operating system, which means that it's quite good for software engineering and code writing development environments. I am personally in software engineering, so it definitely does help a lot of commands, a lot of the systems that we use just in the environments is like Unix based because of Linux itself, and the fact that Mac also follows the same kind of outline helps with compatibility and getting a lot of just ease of use when doing code development. Obviously, everything that would normally work on Windows in terms of code writing does work on the Mac. I haven't found any compatibility issues as of now. The one actually extra benefit that the Mac gives you is Xcode, which is the IDE you need in order to develop iPhone applications. So from my research, the only way you can develop an iOS application or a macOS application is actually through macOS itself. So through Xcode and everything, and you can definitely do that using Swift. So that's definitely an added benefit for anybody that's in software engineering. As I've said, again, the macOS is primarily built for creative uses. They said that they might be bringing gaming to Mac. We'll see about that. I don't know if that's going to be anything that's going to be happening anytime soon. But until then, in terms of any creative development, I do 100% think the Mac is the best choice for any creative professionals out there in terms of just speed, battery life. Oh, actually, battery life. One thing I forgot to get to. But yeah, in terms of speed, battery life, performance, everything is just amazing. Battery life is also very good on the Mac, from my experience. I think it definitely is a little better on the M2 MacBook Airs, which is expected. But I've had this computer for about 3 weeks, and I have not heard the fans kick in once. Not even when I was rendering the PC and it was plugged in. And it's a little bit concerning because I don't know how it translates to the longevity of the processing units and like the processor itself, because heat is very bad for diodes, and like would it actually cause problems with the transistors? Well, I guess we'll see in the long run. But battery life is very, very good because of the fact that the fan doesn't run often or at all, actually. And the fact that macOS is very good at prioritizing performance and like just making sure battery life is doing very well. I haven't had any issues as of now. If you do have AppleCare Plus, you actually do get a free battery replacement, I believe, within the 3 years of your AppleCare Plus, or however long AppleCare is for you. But other than that, you do want to definitely watch out for some of the stuff if you're moving from Windows to Mac. One reason I decided to keep the Mac, considering that I've had a lot of issues with compatibility, is the fact that I already have a Windows PC. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to also experience a different operating system and a different environment and to learn more. And definitely on the go, I feel like it would be beneficial to have something that works well with your phone and everything, because at home you have the ease of connecting your phone to the computer with a wire, so it really doesn't matter if you have something that's macOS compatible. So having a Windows PC and a Mac definitely will be a good combination in my opinion, especially only if you have actually an iPhone. If I didn't have the iPhone, I actually would not see myself getting the Mac at all, because I feel like you also do end up missing out on features there. Hopefully with the added, like the development of just compatibility with the ARM chips for different applications, we'll see more and better applications come out to the Mac, which do not cause as many issues. Um, Personally, like I haven't had the best time trying to get everything from my day-to-day use from Windows to Mac. Some stuff have worked, some stuff hasn't. Um, and some stuff you just have to kind of learn to deal with, I guess. Also, another thing is if you're coming from Windows, you might experience some issues with USBs and everything not working. One of the reasons is because sometimes Windows formats the drives as NTFS. So those kind of compatible issues between Windows and Mac does cause some issues. However, NTFS can definitely be solved if to write and read from an NTFS USB drive. And I will actually show you a clip of an application that I'm using that really does this seamlessly for me. But again, it really depends on the use case. For me personally, I ended up just reformatting most of my drives to exFAT, which is compatible with both operating systems with no issues at all. But other than that, it really depends. I feel like getting a Mac really depends on your day-to-day use. If you see yourself gaming on the go a lot, 100% don't get the Mac. It is not a good option for you. Um, Windows is still much superior in that sense. But if you're somebody that doesn't need a lot of, basically the most you do is web browsing, document editing, and some professional use, maybe photo editing, video editing, stuff like that, and nothing more, I do want definitely recommend the Mac, especially the MacBook Air, because I feel like with the new M2s, they offer not only great performance, but also the best of both worlds in terms of macOS, performance, battery life, and you definitely can't go wrong with that. But other than that, that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure to comment if you have any questions about the Mac, or if you have want me to explore anything of what it's like for a Windows user to use a Mac OS. Comment it down below, and see you guys in the next one.